Hello, and welcome to the class. This short lecture is designed to give you an introduction to SGS 101 and to discuss some of the things you can do to help you succeed in this class. So, let's get started. First of all, a little bit about me. My name is Professor Sivak. I was born and grew up in Montreal, Canada, a place that gets a lot of snow in the winter. I went to college there at McGill University before I started moving to somewhat sunnier and warmer places. First, to Vancouver, British Columbia to do my master's degree, and then to Los Angeles, California to do my PhD in geography. Didn't get to spend a whole lot of time at the beach in Los Angeles. Nevertheless, it was a very lovely place to live, and it really exposed me to a side of living in the US that I'd never seen before. Since 2009, I've been here at ASU. I teach in the School of Politics and Global Studies, mainly courses on globalization, political, and cultural geography. So, now that you know a little bit about me and where I come from, make sure that you do your Who Are You discussion board post. It's a great way to introduce yourself to the class, for everyone to get to know you, and to create a little bit of a sense of community in an online course. So, let's move on to the mechanics of the class. Generally speaking, this course has three goals. One, pretty straightforwardly, identify and define contemporary globalization. Globalization is a pretty big, open-ended, and quite broad term. We're going to spend some time defining what it means, and also contrasting it to older forms of globalization and to thinking about the world globally that predominated in earlier generations and eras. Second, we're going to explain the differences between state-centric and globalist perspectives. Many classes on international or global politics focus on what I'd call a state-centric perspective. This is simply a way of saying that they divide the world into countries and break down processes country by country. In global studies, we do things a little bit differently. We look at processes that cut across borders and boundaries, and then, after that, look at how different places in the world deal with those processes. By way of example, population is a global issue. It's a global process. But how do different countries deal with population issues? Well, obviously, we have to scale down and look at specific places in the world to understand that. Same thing goes with economic development. Same thing goes with war, and so on and so forth. We're starting from the global and working our way down to the national and the local. Third, we are going to look at a set of issues that are really, I think, very interesting in order to understand them better in a reasonable measure of depth. You're not expected to come away being an expert on these issues at the end of this class, but hopefully your appetite will have been whetted and you'll want to know a little bit more and you'll want to learn more. And if you do, that's wonderful. In terms of organization, the course is divided into 7 main units. Each unit is organized around a theme. We do take periodic tests, and these largely focus on the textbook readings, although not exclusively. Tests are multiple choice and are administered through Blackboard. The readings, I know, in the textbook can be a little bit dry sometimes, but the textbook is very well organized, and I think the definitions they provide and the explanations they provide are pretty good. And third, the fun part, discussion boards will be used to help deepen our understandings of the issues. Discussion board posts are graded, and you have online guides regarding how to write an effective discussion board post. So, how to succeed in this class a little bit more generally. I think the 6 rules listed on the screen over here are pretty clear and pretty much spell things out for you. The one I'd like to call attention to, however, is to use your book well. There are terms highlighted in blue or black. They are defined in the book's glossary. They are important. If I go over them in lecture, they are doubly important. Make sure you're systematically working through this material. Make sure that you're in control of what these terms and ideas mean and how they are explained. This is not a course that rewards cramming. This is a course that rewards steady, consistent, reasonably hard work. Mechanics of the class. Tests will be open generally for at least 48 hours, sometimes more. I will reschedule tests in the case of serious medical or personal emergencies. And needless to say, internships, family coming in from somewhere out of town, don't really qualify as serious emergencies. If you do have a serious emergency, of course, don't hesitate to get in touch with me as soon as possible. Everything you'll need for 1 week is found in that week's folder. Finally, you are responsible for keeping your equipment in good working shape. There are all kinds of things that can really reduce the performance of your computer system in an online course setting, from outdated software to virus scanning that isn't running the right way and so forth. And generally speaking, it's important to keep in mind that while we're here to learn, it's also a good idea to have fun. SGS and POS are exciting majors. We have lots of classes, we have lots of activities, we have lots of events, open houses in February, talks that go on here. Find out what's going on. You have a link to the website on the slide. Take the time and take advantage of these resources. They are here for you, and they can make both this class and your time at ASU more generally a lot richer, a lot more educational, and a lot more fun. Having said all of this, our first substantive lecture is going to focus on the concept of globalization, and this is what's coming up next.